Greetings, and welcome to this week's in-depth video, where we will be taking a look at the Cunning Ranger. Let's get going. The Ranger is a medium-armored, nature-focused adventure profession who fights alongside an animal companion. Wielding a nice mixture of melee and ranged weapons, Rangers are the perfect accent to any battle. Let me just note before we move on that I do plan on playing every profession, but a Ranger will probably be my main. I absolutely love what ArenaNet is doing with the Ranger in Guild Wars 2. You'll see in a little bit here, but let's just get going. For their abilities, Rangers can have pets. Pets fight alongside the Ranger. They can have 3 pets with them, but only one will fight with them at a time. Rangers can switch their pet outside of combat, or through the use of certain utility skills. Some of their pets, as well as the Ranger themselves, can use stealth, which is just plain awesome. On a side note about pets, they have 2 separate levels, General and Evolutionary. The pet's general level is always the same as the owner's, and this determines their base attack, armor, and health. The evolution level advances if the pet is active while the owner gains experience. As it progresses, the pet gains access to up to 4 pet skills, based on the pet's breed and species. Now on to their special skill types. First we have chains. A lot like the warriors, there are 3 skills that one chain into another, all sharing the same key. Preparations. You can apply a preparation to a weapon to change its abilities. Spirit skills. Spirit skills summon a nature spirit that influences the area around it, a lot like Guild Wars 1. And also they're bringing back traps. Utility skills that can be placed at a Ranger's current location. When an enemy enters the trap, it is triggered. More on those later. Next we have what weapons they can equip. For two-handed, yes, they actually can wield a greatsword. This is freaking awesome. There's no skills given at this time, but that is still freaking awesome to be a Ranger with a greatsword that can stealth. I don't know, I just find that to be just amazing. Also, for two-handed weapons, they can use the longbow and shortbow. The longbow is a stationary sniping weapon focused on long-range attacks, whereas the shortbow is a quick skirmishing in-the-fray type of weapon that greatly relies on movement and positioning for quick kills. In the main hand, we have the sword and axe. In the offhand, we have the axe, dagger, torch, and warhorn. So without further ado, let's get into the actual weapon skills. As I said before, the greatsword currently has no skills announced, so let's just move right on to the longbow. Long range shot. Shoots at your foe from a distance, recharges instantly. Rapid fire. Hold to rapidly shoot arrows at your foe, 15-second recharge. Poison arrow. Shoot an arrow at your foe to poison them, 10-second recharge. Point blank shot. Knock back your foe with a close shot, 45-second recharge. Barrage. Unleash a barrage of arrows into a target area, 30-second recharge. Moving on to the shortbow. Crossfire. Shoot an arrow at your target. This does a lot more damage if it hits your foe from the side or behind. Recharges instantly. Spread shot. Shoots a group of arrows in a spread pattern, 8-second recharge. Quick shot. Fires a quick shot, then retreat directly backwards, 15-second recharge. Crippling shot. Cripples your foe, 20-second recharge. And finally, concussion shot. Target enemy is stunned if they are hit from behind. Otherwise, they're dazed, 35-second recharge. Now for the axe. In the main hand, we have Ricochet. Bounce your axe off of multiple enemies. This recharges instantly. This seems kind of a confusing description, but it may be some kind of a ranged attack. I'm really not sure, but that's all we have for now. Next we have Staggering Throw. Knock back your foe, 20-second recharge. And Split Blade. Throw a spread pattern of whirling axes, 8-second recharge. Finally, the offhand skills for the axe are Whirling Defense. Hold to reflect projectiles as seen in the video here. Reflected projectiles will also damage nearby foes. no recharge. Path of Scars. Throws your axe and hits all foes in its path. 20-second recharge. Now onto the sword, and currently the only chain skills for the ranger at this time. And that chain is for the main hand sword, which is Slash, which slashes your foe, chains into Kick, which knocks your foe back, and that finally chains into Pounce, where you leap at your target foe. Kinda cool. Other main hand skills for the sword are Serpent Strike, poisons your foe, 4-second recharge, and Hornet Sting. Stab your foe quickly and retreat backwards, 20-second recharge. And that's all for the sword. Do remember that the sword is only main hand, not offhand. For the dagger, we have the offhand skills only, and those are Crippling Talon, which throws your dagger to cripple your foe on a 20-second recharge, and Venom's Sting. Stab and poison your foe, 15-second recharge. And for the torch, for your offhand, we have Throw Torch, which burns your foe, 20-second recharge. And Set Ablaze. Set the area around you on fire, burning all foes within it, 40-second recharge. And finally, we have the Warhorn. This one's only offhand as well, and it has two abilities. The first is Hunter's Call. As seen in the video here, it calls a flock of hawks to swarm your foe on a 20-second recharge. It's a little corny, but, you know, you're still summoning freaking hawks to go and, like, eat their eyeballs. That's kind of cool. And then finally we have Call of the Wild, which grants Fury, Might, and Swiftness to yourself and nearby allies on a 30-second recharge. Very, very solid buff right there. Now moving on to the other skills. As always, they break down into 3 different main groups: Healing, Utility, and Elite. In Healing, we only have general skills, and the first of those are Heal as One. Heal yourself and your pet on a 12-second recharge. Next we have Healing Spring. Grants regeneration and removes conditions from you and nearby allies on a 15-second recharge. And Troll Ungent. You guys should remember this from Guild Wars 1, as it was the trademark healing ability of the Ranger. This regenerates health over time, just like in Guild Wars 1, on a 15-second recharge. Now, moving on to Utility. Those break down into 4 different types. Those are General, Trap, Spirit, and Signet. Let's start with General. There are 5 of these skills, and the first of which is Camouflage, which is just plain awesome. You become invisible along with your pet, unless you move or attack. 60-second recharge. This seems almost like an exact clone of the camouflage ability that the hunters get in World of Warcraft with Cataclysm. But nevertheless, it's still a very cool thing, and Blizzard does not have a patent on it. The next general skill is Comfort Animal. Comfort your animal to heal, remove conditions from it, or revive it on a 120-second recharge. Forage. Search the area for an improvised weapon. 120-second recharge. Lightning Reflexes. Grants you swiftness and fury on a 90-second recharge. And finally we have Tracking. Temporarily reveals foes on the minimap and increases perception on a 240-second recharge. Moving on to Traps, we have Dust Trap. Blinds the enemy who triggers it. Frost Trap. When triggered, this chills foes around it on a 75-second recharge. Muddy Terrain. Create an area that cripples foes. 90-second recharge. Spike Trap. This trap knocks down, bleeds, and cripples nearby foes when it is triggered. 90-second recharge. Finally, we have Viper's Nest. This trap poisons nearby foes when it's triggered on a 60-second recharge. Now, for the Spirit and Signet. There is only one of each at this point, and that Spirit skill is Sun Spirit. Applies additional fire damage to attacks made by allies inside its influence. Very cool. And the Signet is Feral Signet. Passively, your pet deals more damage, and actively, your pet's attacks are critical for 10 seconds on a 120-second recharge. Very nice little buff there for your pet. Now we have two of the coolest skills for the ranger. I know I say this for every profession, but it remains true that their elite skills are their coolest ones. And as it should be. The first of which is Alpha Strike. This allows the user to call out all three of his pets for a limited amount of time. This is just awesome. Especially if you get 3 high DPS pets, this could give you some amazing burst damage. And the other is Rampage as 1. Rampage with your pet, running 50% faster, dealing 100% critical attacks, and ignoring damage on a 720 second recharge. That is a whopping recharge, but it seems worth it. That is just plain awesome. At any rate, that wraps up our look at the Ranger. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to tune in 2 weeks where we will take a look at the Deathly Necromancer. My name's Zolfury, and I'll see you then.